quand même vous reposer cette question. Pourquoi vous n'avez jamais gagné une seule guerre depuis 70 ans? Même la Seconde Guerre mondiale, s'il n'y avait pas eu la Russie et que vous êtes venu prendre la cerise sur le gâteau, la face du monde aurait changé. J'ai du respect pour le peuple américain. Je ne comprends pas la politique, mais il est temps parce que tous les jours, il y a des innocents, des morts syriens qui payent un lourd tribut et vous avez une responsabilité.
Too many people have died for people to continue speaking in terms that are unclear and just not speaking the truth. It's time we simply said what we know, whether it's classified information or not. All of you have seen the results of what we're saying. What we're saying will fit what has happened here and what facts you've been able to bring up. This, our hypothesis is based on solid information, solid research on the ground, using human signals intelligence from our extensive capabilities. We don't guess. We know what we're talking about here. Their motivation is largely economic. They're a criminal organization, but they're part of a worldwide criminal organization. And they're here in your territory, taking your things, your factories, your lives, your people, for the enrichment of a very specific group of people who need to be held to account. It's almost as though it's a police problem. This is crime. This terrorism that you're suffering is worldwide crime on a scale we have never seen before. There has never been anything like this.
مستوى عالمي. وهنا نختتم عرضا. شكرا لكم.
دكتور سليم بس هذا الموضوع مهم عسكري. دكتور سليم تعليق بس
تفضل بس دكتور حابه اذا
I appreciate your statements and I recognize the truth and honesty of what you were saying, but I do believe there are areas of misunderstanding how the United States works politically. And this is a problem, a tremendous problem in the Middle East, and one of the things that's driven us here is it's very difficult to understand what has happened as far as Israeli control of American politics. And I, as succinctly as possible, I will explain this to you.
أنا أقدر تماما ما تقولونه وأقدر أيضا نزاهته وشفافية ما تقولونه، لكن في نفس الوقت هناك بعض سوء الفهم حول طريقة عمل الولايات المتحدة سياسيا وطبيعة علاقتها بالولايات المتحدة، وأرى ذلك في المنطقة من فشل بعض العمليات، وهذا ما نستطيع أن نعمل عليه.
In 2005, the Supreme Court of the United States had a decision on a case called Citizens United. The decision of the Supreme Court legalized unlimited corporate bribery. This turned control of the Congress of the United States over to human traffickers, narcotics traffickers, and in particular, the most powerful individual in the United States today is a gambling boss named Sheldon Adelson, an Israeli citizen who fled the U.S. living in Macau, spent over $1 billion in the last election, and bought control of both houses of Congress. Now Senator John McCain, the father of al-Nusra, the father of ISIS, will be running U.S. legislative and military foreign policy.
في عام 2005 أصدرت المحكمة الأمريكية العليا حكما في قضية تتعلق بتنظيم يسمى Citizens United أو مواطنون متحدون. في الواقع فوضت فيها مجموعات إجرامية كبرى للمتجرين بالبشر وتجار المخدرات بالسيطرة على الكونغرس الأمريكي، وهناك مواطن يحمل الجنسية الإسرائيلية، مواطن أمريكي يحمل الجنسية الإسرائيلية، هرب من الولايات المتحدة ويقيم حاليا في ماكاو. أنفق في الانتخابات السابقة $1,000,000، وهو ما يمكن السيناتور جون ماككين الذي أسميه الأب الروحي لجبهة النصرة،
ناضجا برؤيته ومعرفته كالأصدقاء الذين رأيناهم.
American generals like General McInerney This turned control of the Congress of the United States over to human traffickers, narcotics traffickers, and in particular, the most powerful individual in the United States today is a gambling boss named Sheldon Adelson, an Israeli citizen who fled the U.S. living in Macau, spent over $1 billion in the last election, and bought control of both houses of Congress. Now Senator John McCain, the father of al-Nusra, the father of ISIS, will be running U.S. legislative and military foreign policy.
في عام 2005 أصدرت المحكمة الأمريكية العليا حكما في قضية تتعلق بتنظيم يسمى Citizens United أو مواطنون متحدون. في الواقع فوضت فيها مجموعات إجرامية كبرى للمتجرين بالبشر وتجار المخدرات بالسيطرة على الكونغرس الأمريكي. وهناك مواطن يحمل الجنسية الإسرائيلية، مواطن أمريكي يحمل الجنسية الإسرائيلية، هرب من الولايات المتحدة ويقيم حاليا في ماكاو. أنفق في الانتخابات السابقة $1,000,000، وهو ما يمكن السيناتور جون ماككين الذي أسميه الأب الروحي لجبهة النصرة،
ناضجا برؤيته ومعرفته كالأصدقاء الذين رأيناهم.
American generals like General McInerney and General Paul Vallely, specialists in psychological warfare, helped organize Daesh, have traveled in and out of your country here, Syria, over and over, as has Senator John McCain, meeting with Al-Qaeda, an organization created by the American, Saudi, and Israeli defense forces and intelligence services.
هناك جنرالات أمريكيون.
Only a little over a week ago, the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Chuck Hagel, resigned. Chuck Hagel was the individual that stopped the United States from bombing Syria over the false flag gas attacks near Aleppo.
تعلمون جميعا أن وزير الدفاع الأمريكي تشاك هيجل استقال استعمال سوريا للسلاح الكيميائي.
It was our organization here that supplied the intelligence that stopped those attacks.
ومنظمتنا كانت هي المنظمة التي قدمت المعلومات الاستخباراتية التي أدت إلى وقف هذا الهجوم على سوريا.
It's our goal here, while we're here, to try to establish a method of communication that will allow Syria and other nations within the area to understand Israel's control of the U.S., the control of the U.S. by organized crime, and how the U.S. government is subservient to a worldwide criminal organization.
هدفنا من الوجود هنا هو بناء قنوات تواصل تمكن.
This was just sent to me by one of my people in England. It's probably true. Things like this are always released around Christmas, so no one will pay attention to it. If you're someone who follows my videos, I'd like you to put this on your Facebook and send it to everyone on your email list before it gets lost. This guy's naming names. And it seemed to me that ISIS was funded I thought by the U.S. and then Kerry Cassidy had a guy on whose expertise was finding out where terrorists get their money, and he located 19,000 Swiss bank accounts that were funding terrorism, and for doing that he was jailed for 2 years instead of being hailed a hero. So I think we're in the hands of, like he says, the drug traffickers, the human traffickers. The whole world's a prisoner to criminals. I used to work for Narconon, so I've seen drug addicts and prostitution and what it does to people. And I wanted to be in the concert business, and to do that you need about $70,000 to $250,000 to deposit. And what goes on in my city is there's guys who sell drugs. They get about $16,000 together, and then they put on a rave. And they do that about 3 times, and they come up with the $70,000 to $250,000, and then they bring in a real big act like Crosby, Stills and Nash or REO Speedwagon or somebody like that. No, I can't sell drugs, so I was unable to raise the money. But there is tremendous money in drugs, prostitution, oil, and I had heard that the actual figure for purchasing Congress was $2.5 million per person, and that was a couple of years back that the U.S. government was the best government that money can buy. So this is hopefully one of the small events where we see the world turning around from the barbarism that was extant before the arrival of Yeshua of Nazareth with some new ideas about peace on earth, which is what Christmas is supposed to be about, celebrating the birth of the man who gave us a change in civilization. I was talking to a minister once, and he said, how important is this guy? He said, this is why we have BC and AD. That's how important he is. And the worldwide attack on Catholics, Catholicism, and anything to do with Christianity, from my viewpoint, I get information from Catholic newspapers, and websites have the news that we're not getting on the mainstream, which is why they're attacking the Catholics for one reason, plus the ideas about ethics, morality, truth, and justice come from the ideas of Yeshua, and the criminal element on the planet would like to get rid of that if they could, because it makes their activities look bad, and it's why these activities are illegal. So of course they want to downgrade that and poo-poo it and give it a bad rap. So we have the unprecedented attack on Christian ideals and morality. On the other hand, the church was taken over a long time ago, and we got things like the Spanish Inquisition, where around 1 million people were murdered. And I joined a fourth way school in 1977, I think, and the first thing they did was they took us to university and showed us a film, a genuine documentary about how the Roman Catholic Church swept through Europe and killed all the midwives, the witches, the Wicca people, the Druids, anyone who represented any other kind of thinking was murdered. And they went all the way out to the little tiny islands between Northern Ireland and America even. Very thorough. So this has been a long time political suppression to keep us from knowing there could be a better way to be on the planet, and it's ongoing. So, as Elvis said, Merry Christmas, baby.